The music industry's most controversial frights is hiding secrets that will shock you to your core. Before you dive into this explosive story, make sure to hit that subscribe button because what you're about to discover about Eddie Benjamin will leave you questioning and javering. You thought you knew about Justin Bieber's inner circle. Picture this, a young musician from Australia suddenly becomes the most powerful person in Justin Bieber's life, influencing his music more than his own wife, living with a celebrity twice his age, and creating tensions that threaten to destroy one of entertainment's must-watch marriages. Eddie Benjamin isn't just another collaborator. He's the puppet master pulling strings behind Justin's biggest decisions, and the story of how he got there reads like a Hollywood thriller. Eddie Benjamin's journey begins in the vibrant music scene of Sydney, Australia, where creativity flowed through his bloodline like an unstoppable river. His mother gracefully danced her way through life as a professional performer, while his father kept rhythm as a touring drummer, filling their household with melodies and beats that would shape Eddie's destiny. Growing up surrounded by instruments and artistic expression, Eddie absorbed music like a sponge absorbs water, developing an almost supernatural connection to sound that will later captivate one of the world's biggest superstars at just 14 years old. Eddie transformed from a curious kid into a performing sensation, taking stages at Sydney's underground clubs with the confidence of someone twice his age. The dimly lit venues became his classroom, teaching him how to read crowds, control energy, and create moments that lingered long after the last note faded. During his high school years, he formed the Hayes Trio with classmates who shared his passion. But even then, Eddie's talent shone brighter than the rest, hinting at the extraordinary path that lay ahead. His musical abilities defied convention descript. Eddie possessed a rare gift that allowed him to play instruments while simultaneously creating harmonic sounds with his voice, producing melodies that seemed to come from another dimension. This unique talent caught the attention of established artists, leading to collaborations with Meghan Trainor, Earth, Wind and Fire, and Shawn Mendes. Yet, despite these impressive credits, Eddie remained largely unknown to the general public, preferring to work behind the scenes where his true power could grow without scrutiny. Everything changed in 2022 when Destiny arranged a meeting between Eddie and Justin Bieber during the Justice Tour. What started as a simply opening act opportunity quickly evolved into something much deeper and more complex. Justin, known for his ability to spot talent, immediately recognized something special in the young Australian. Their musical chemistry was instant and undeniable, creating a bond that transcended typical artist collaborations and ventured into territory that made many people uncomfortable. The connection between Eddie and Justin resembled the legendary partnerships of music history, but with modern complications that previous generations never had to navigate. They spent countless hours in studios crafting sounds that seemed to flow directly from their shared consciousness. Justin began calling Eddie the next generation of music, praising his abilities publicly while their private friendship deepened beyond professional boundaries. Behind this musical partnership lurked a figure whose influence would prove both beneficial and controversial. CIA, the enigmatic Australian singer whose protective instincts toward young talent that already raised eyebrows through the Hollywood. Eddie's entry into Chaw's world came through his romantic relations with Maddie Ziegler, the talented dancer who had become CIA's surrogate daughter through circumstances that many found questionable. CIA's immediate adoption of Eddie as her Australian son followed a pattern that had become her signature, identifying vulnerable young artists and inserting her into their lives as a maternal figure. She offered Eddie housing, guidance, and protection, but at what cost? The living arrangement placed Eddie directly under Sia's influence during the most crucial period of his career development, raising questions about the true nature of those relationships. The dynamics within CIA's household created a web of dependencies extended far beyond normal mentorship. Eddie lived under the same roof as Maddie. While CIA maintained control over both their personal and professional decisions, this arrangement continued even after Eddie's relationship with Maddie ended, suggesting that C's interest in Eddie transcended his connection to her primary protege. When Eddie began collaborating with Justin Bieber, their relationship dynamics shifted dramatically. Justin's fascination with Eddie's talents grew into something fate observers described as obsessive. Their studio sessions extended into all-night creative marathons, with Justin hanging on Eddie's every musical suggestion and treating his opinions as gospel truth. The Australian musician had somehow achieved what many industry veterans never could: complete creative influence over one of the world's biggest pop stars. The release of Justin's album showcased Eddie's unprecedented advent, with his name appearing as co-writer on 11 of the 21 tracks. Industry insiders whispered that Eddie's contributions went far beyond typical collaboration, with some suggesting he had essentially ghost-written much of Justin's work. The album's chaotic release, marked by last-minute changes and incomplete credits, only fueled speculation about the true extent of Eddie's creative control. Eddie's influence over Justin became increasingly visible to those around them. Friends and industry professionals noted how Justin's attention shifted away from his usual collaborators and toward the young Australian, who seemed to have an almost hypnotic effect on the pop star. Their public interactions display an intimacy that many found inappropriate for a married man, with Eddie receiving levels of affection and attention that Justin rarely showed his own wife. The situation reached a boiling point during recent public appearances, where witnesses described scenes that challenged the boundaries of friendship. At exclusive industry events, Justin's behavior toward Eddie crossed lines that made onlookers uncomfortable. He displayed physical affection that seemed excessive, treating Eddie with a kind of attention typically reserved for romantic partners rather than creative collaborators. Hailey Bieber's reaction to her husband's relations with Eddie told its own story. Those close to the couple reported visible tension whenever Eddie entered the picture. Hailey's discomfort became increasingly apparent at public events, where she watched her husband lavish attention on his collaborator while seemingly ignoring her presence. The contrast between Justin's intimate interactions with Eddie and his distant behavior toward his wife created speculation about the true priorities in his life. The entertainment industry began buzzing with theories about the unusual dynamic between the three individuals. Some suggested that Eddie had become Justin's creative lifeline, providing the inspiration and musical direction that the pop star desperately needed to remain relevant. Others wondered whether the relationship had evolved beyond professional collab into territory that threatened Justin's marriage and public image. Eddie's own comments about Justin reveled the depth of his admiration, describing the pop star in terms that bordered on worship. He spoke about Justin's musical abilities with a reverence typically reserved for religious figures, using language that suggested their connection transcended normal creative partnerships. This intense admiration, combined with Justin's obvious dependence on Eddie's input, created a dynamic that many found troubling. The timing of Eddie's rise to prominence coincided with noticeable changes in Justin's behavior and musical direction. The pop star, who had previously maintained some distance from his collaborators, suddenly seemed unable to function creatively without Eddie's constant presence. Their public appearances together increased dramatically, with Eddie becoming a fixture in Justin's life that rivaled the presence of his own family members. Industry observers noted them proceeding to access that Eddie enjoyed to Justin's creative process. Unlike previous collaborators who worked on specific projects before moving on, Eddie had embedded himself into Justin's artistic DNA, becoming an essential component of the pop star's musical identity. This level of influence raised questions about the sustainability of such an intense creative relationship and its potential impact on Justin's other personal and professional affections. The controversy surrounding Eddie's role in Justin's life extended beyond mere gossip, touching on deeper questions about influence, dependency, and the blurred lines between creative collaboration and personal manipulation. Critics wonder whether Eddie's meteoric rise from a known opening act to Justin's most trusted collaborator represented genuine recognition or something more calculated and concerning. As the story continues to unfold, the entertainment world watches carefully to see whether this unconventional partnership will produce continued creative success or ultimately implode under the weight of its own intensity. The stakes conspire, with Justin's marriage, career trajectory, and public image all hanging on the balance of his relationship with the enigmatic Australian musician who somehow managed to become the most influential person in his world. The Benjamin phenomenon represents more than just another Hollywood friendship gone wrong. It's a cautionary tale about the dangers of unchecked influence in an industry where vulnerability and talent often intersect in dangerous ways. Whether Eddie professed to be Justin's creative salvation or his ultimate downfall remains to be seen.